First of all, I'd like to show my appreciation for Peace of Mind for giving me this opportunity to talk about my story. A painting is never finished, just abandoned, Leonardo da Vinci. As well as this relates to art, I think it takes a great toll on mental illness. If you've suffered in the past, you don't become recovered within the hours of therapy and bottles of prescription. You need to work and work to create tactics and solutions to improve your state of mind, and if left abandoned, you fall. Hello, I'm Bianca, and I've been suffering with depression for a couple of years. The start of my story is December 14th, 2015. This is the night I attempted suicide. Unlike most stories I've heard, there was no big blow-up, no fight with my parents or bullying at school. It was just a regular day. I come home from 4 p.m. just to wipe off the smile. I've been wearing like a mask all day. Everything goes according to schedule. That is until night comes around. Night and I don't get along very well. He pushes me to my limits until I find myself falling. Depression is often compared to as falling, not quite hitting the ground yet, but making your way there. The way I knew I was depressed was not the cuts that were lying down my wrists and hips or the amount of tears I cried each night, no. The way I knew I was depressed was when someone told me they hated me, I never blamed them because I knew they would never hate me as much as I hated myself. Because the amount of times they called me ugly, they didn't know the half of it, just how ugly I was on the inside. I was repulsed by every aspect of myself. So no, I didn't have a big blowout into leading me into attempting suicide. One night, after crying my eyes out for the 5th time that week and it only being Wednesday, I decided that this was enough. This was no way of living, but just painting on a smile and a laugh every night, every morning, just to wipe it off like makeup before bed. Now to take you to that night. At that moment, I felt nothing. Time slowed down to an excruciating pace. I waved my white flag and swallowed pills by the handful. First 10, then 15, and then another 20, and God, I would have taken more if I could find them. Not a tear falls, not an emotion on my face. I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of living another day. I was afraid of the look I gave myself in the mirror every night, the look of hatred and grief. I was afraid of being silent another day while my insides were screaming, the feeling of being surrounded by loved ones, but still feeling alone. But more than anything, I was afraid to wake up another day still feeling this way. I sit in silence and think, is a note too cliche? Would it be rude not to leave one? I'm not thinking properly in this moment, so I scribble on a paper, I will always love you. Now that I think of it, what a selfish way to leave things. But that's what I was selfish. This exit is misleading because the cliches are right. Suicide does not end the pain, it transfers it onto someone else. I transferred my pain onto my family without even dying, and I'll never forgive myself for that. I lay my head on my pillow with 1,000 thoughts surfacing. I think about taking it all back, ripping up the note, and sticking my fingers in my mouth. No one has to know, but my depression held me hostage in my bed. I pray for my body to keep the pills down, and I applaud my depression for a good game. I almost had you, but you won. Or so I thought. I wake up days, and God didn't answer my prayers because I start puking up all 45 pills taken. To this day, I cringe at the thought of Advil. Before I could react, both my parents run into my room because they hear me puking. My mom thinks I ate something bad until she looks at my desk and sees the note. She drops to the floor screaming, physically collapsed. My dad goes into this calm and collected phase. They call the ambulance. They walk me to a stretcher. I feel too weak to speak. They bring me to the hospital. Now, I could talk to you about the road to recovery, give you a spiel on what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but I'd rather just skip ahead to now, to this day, because that night was just over a year ago, and I'm still striving to be fully recovered. But I have made great progress. I no longer think of myself of the girl who needs therapy to feel better, or the girl who has a deep phobia of night. No, I think of myself as a strong human being who doesn't let her illness define her, and I think of myself as a girl who no longer needs to paint on a smile. I won. Thank you.